Sometimes I worry about the plant self-esteem. Like when I go to Bunnings and I see an ugly plant, I actually feel really sorry for it.
Oh. In this episode of The Workwives, we're discussing the benefits that can be found by introducing plants to your workspace. Anna brings the facts and Sarah brings the feels, but for these two early middle-aged mums, the tech struggle is sometimes real. So we didn't quite nail the optimal mic settings during this particular recording, but we're learning. And the botanical banter is so good for this one that we didn't want to keep it from you. So we hope that you don't mind just a few tech imperfections in exchange for a great chat. With that said, here we go. Hey Sarah, let's talk about plants.
Wow, okay. Why not? Why not? What about them?
Well, the reason I wanted to talk about plants today is really because
so random.
I inherited an orchid. So for anyone who knows me knows I have what's called a black thumb.
Uh-huh.
And it means I kill any plant that I touch historically. I've even been able to kill succulents, several of them.
Wow. Well, look, in the early days of my marriage, my husband used to make the sign of the cross to any plant that I brought home because he used to say it's guaranteed to happen. Not sure when, but...
So you understand the struggle.
Yeah, but I love plants.
Yeah, so I do too, and that's why I have a lot of shame and guilt around having plants because I kill them and then I just feel like I've killed something that didn't deserve to die, right?
I'm getting better as I get older. Are you getting better with your plant resuscitation?
I am, to the degree that my house has always historically been filled with fake plants.
Yes.
But I've bought one or two real plants into my life and that has turned into a real unhealthy obsession.
Yes. Look, and Anna, as a good friend of yours, you are definitely a friend that goes through hobbies, shall we say.
I inherited a trait of really going balls to the wall with I'll find something that I like.
Oh, it's like the time you bought the yoga swing. Remember the yoga swing?
I was really into yoga swinging.
Out there for a while. I'm sure your husband loved the view he was getting from the kitchen window. You definitely go through. Yeah. You went through crystals. We both sort of got into crystals. Well, yours had babies and amplified to the point that it's like you could do a crystal tree, a family tree of.
Yep.
I've got a few. You've got
just
1,000.
Like anything that takes my interest, like depth versus herd. I really, not only did I get interested in what was happening, I'd wake up at like 4 a.m. to watch the live trial. Like I really was, if I'm into something, I'm really into it.
And you research. And
I research it. I get down to the nitty gritty.
Do very informative decisions. And
but then I get over
like the clappers on your credit card.
I go like the clappers, the credit card takes a beating, and then I get over it and then I move on to the next thing.
Can we just talk not just about your psychological adaptation to being obsessed? Talk me through fake plants. I get they're everywhere, but I don't get them. Nothing makes me happier than a real plant.
Well, it's because I couldn't keep them alive.
Right.
It was either have no greenery in my house or have fake greenery in my house.
It was an aesthetic thing, 'cause I just don't get it. I judge people.
I appreciate the greenery, which brings us to the point of today's podcast, which is the benefit of having plants in the workplace.
Are you going to inform me of the psychological benefits?
I'm going to inform you because I'm into plants at the moment and it's really helping my mindset and my headspace.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, we're in my office and I've got a devil's ivy that's been growing for
it's going
a couple of years now, and it's it's a lovely little. It's my first one that I was able to keep alive. So
congratulations!
It's got a special space in my heart.
Can I tell you what makes me feel a little bit re-energized, rejuvenated?
What?
Like I'm kicking goals. You know when your plant gets a bit droopy and flaccid and it's looking a bit sad?
Yeah.
Giving it a drink and just watching it bounce back.
I'll tell you what's even better is mastering something, which I've lately mastered the art of keeping an orchid alive. And then I rejuvenated one from near death and I've just inherited two more and I'm become known in my wider social circles as an orchid, what we might like to call an orchid whisperer.
I was going to say orchid whisperer.
Yeah, a bit of a doctor.
I'm sure you're about to tell me the psychological benefits of greenery and plants, but I tend to believe the human body is made up of 80% water. Your brain, your heart. Hear me out.
No, it's just the way you said it. I tend to believe that the science says.
Well, you're a friend who I have to remind to drink water. I don't know how you even are still alive because I'll drink gallons of the stuff. But I kind of have this healthy synergy that if I'm free-flowing with H2O and my, skin is bouncing, my brain's full of yummy and delicious water, then my plant and my brain and my body talk to each other. Is that what happens? You send out...
Well, I guess that's getting into a bit of quantum physics, which I have heartily, I love a bit of quantum physics, and that does say that energetically, or water does speak to its, the energy level that you're outputting. And, there's studies that have had people walk through greenhouses and have positive thoughts and negative thoughts, and then the receptors on the plants have gone off, to show... Yeah, it's very interesting science, but that is a whole other topic that we won't go into today. If you have the time to watch What the Bleep Do We Know, watch that. That gets a bit of the oomy-goomy science, but I do appreciate it.
Hit me with your plant knowledge then, girl.
So having a plant or greenery in your office, in your workspace, has been proven in a number of studies to decrease stress levels by up to 10%, and they increase your productivity by up to 15%. And they believe there's a number of different reasons for this. One of the things that they put it to is that it reduces blood pressure, because reducing your stress then reduces your blood pressure, which can, increase productivity. Another reason that they think it might increase productivity is that when you're more relaxed, your brain receptors are opened up, and it allows you to become more focused on what you're doing, and that can increase productivity. Another reason that they give is that it potentially can reduce mental fatigue, along with reducing your mental stress, which then in turn will increase your productivity. So that's the biggest benefit to having greenery.
Look, I know that you've always got a scientific answer, but I just not even scientifically feel that if I've got computers or tablets in my kids' room, I stick an extra plant and somehow that will balance it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Offsetting the
carbon monoxide.
Yeah, so
kids are sitting in a forest as I go in and tap out the spiders to pass them a drink of water.
Well, so interestingly, that is another reason why plants are beneficial in the workplace, because we all know how plants work, and what they do is that they gobble up carbon dioxide, and in return, they very graciously spit out pure oxygen for us, which is a really lovely gift that they give us. So
we give them our toxins, they give us beautiful
They love it.
oxygen.
They love the toxins. But there's evidence that also shows it's not just oxygen. It's not just carbon dioxide that they eat. They also evidence has shown that workplaces that have plants in them have less toxins that are produced, chemicals that are released by a lot of our office furnishings, our synthetic office furnishings, that will spit out things like formaldehyde and other yucky stuff. Offices that have, or workplaces that have plants in them, have lower levels of those toxins in the air. So there's something about the plants that also they're acting as air purifiers and air filters, really. And in filtering out the carbon dioxide, they're also filtering out a lot of other yucky toxins that we might otherwise be ingesting in our day-to-day work life.
Absolutely fascinating. So it boosts your mood, you get productivity, greater concentration, creativity. It's therapeutic.
Yes, there's also evidence that it increases our self-esteem.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not sure about the specific sciences behind that, but I think that's a great... Well, look, I can speak for myself in that I look at this plant that I've kept alive for 2 years, and that does, that increases my self-esteem. If I'm capable of keeping a plant alive, then I must be capable of other amazing things in life, right? So
sometimes I worry about the plant self-esteem. Like when I go to Bunnings and I see an ugly plant, I actually feel really sorry for it.
Oh, yeah. Because no one's going to pick it, are they?
No.
Yeah.
Then what happens to that ugly plant?
Yeah, well... Darwinian.
Yeah, let's think on the positive though. There's a lot of positives.
A lot of positives, yes.
It can reduce noise too.
Plants? How so?
Just that by having, like, if you had think about if you were in a workspace environment and there's a few of you, it can like act as a buffer between you and noisy Sally over there in workspace number 5.
Yeah, fair enough. It can also block her ugly face too.
That's true too. So many benefits. So many benefits. Not to mention, I aesthetically love the look of plants. Greenery makes me feel like I'm a little bit healthier, perhaps.
The other benefit that it has is that it helps us to, in connecting with nature. I think there was a study in the US a while ago, and I have to look up the numbers on this, but I believe that they managed to attribute 10% of employee sick days could be explained by a lack of nature and natural light in the office. Now, you and I know this because we recently did a workshop. We run many workshops, and we booked a space recently in a place where we had to travel to. We don't live there, so we couldn't check it out beforehand. And we didn't realize that they had put our attendees in a place that didn't have any windows. And I was only in there for about 15 minutes, and I thought,
get me out of here.
Get me into some natural sunshine. And it does make a huge difference. If you're in a place where you've got a filter, natural light filtering through, you can see the clouds or the sky outside. You can see greenery and nature. It connects you a lot more.
And on the flip side of that, we happened to actually do some photographs for some headshots at the same function, and it was a very, very cold day, and the hotel happened to have a beautiful indoor atrium full of plants, natural light, and some really aesthetically pleasing to the eye locations that we could do some photos, and the mood lifted and boosted instantaneously by getting out of that dark light with horrible fluorescent lights.
Now, I know there might be someone listening to this who's going, crap, my office doesn't have any windows. I'm screwed. But that's not necessarily the case, because there's a feng shui technique where if you don't have any natural light, the suggestion is to get a photo or an image of a landscape, of a natural setting.
Hence why Apple Macs have got so many incredible
screen backgrounds. Yes, yeah. So if you are in an office where you don't have any windows, position a photo or a framed picture somewhere near where your eyesight, like above your computer screen or whatever, that has a natural outlook, because it can connect you with nature in the same type of way that looking at a window does.
Hello, Bora Bora.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd do rolling hills, because if I was looking at Bora Bora, I would just feel sad that I was sitting in an office and not.
That's interesting. My childhood was in the country, and it's really funny. A lot of my homes, I've been really, really lucky to have a little bit of an outlook, whether it be a courtyard or a hill or even the beach, some nature. Yeah, and it actually does make me feel like a human being.
So much better, right? Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. Go out there today, grab the credit card, buy a plant. You have our permission. Just don't get obsessive like Anna.
Well, yeah, and if you do, just make sure you keep them alive. I have a lot of dependents relying on me now. Reminds me I got to go out and water the orchids.
Have a great week.
See ya.